Welcome to AppleKnows channel. I am Apple, and today I'm about to take you into the deepest, strangest, and most unsettling mysteries of the ocean. Some of these facts sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but they are real, proven by scientists, and they might just change the way you look at the sea forever. Let's start with this. More than 80% of our oceans remain unexplored. Think about that. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the depths of our own planet. The ocean is like a black box hiding secrets that humans have barely touched. In fact, every single year, new species are discovered, some so bizarre they look like creatures from another planet, transparent fish with heads you can literally see through, or shrimp that can punch with the force of a bullet. Now, imagine this. Deep down in the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, pressure is more than 1,000 times greater than at sea level. If you were to dive down without protection, your body would be crushed instantly. Yet, life exists there. Scientists have found microorganisms and strange creatures that not only survive but thrive in these extreme conditions. How they do it remains one of the great mysteries of biology. And then there's the sound. The ocean is not silent. In fact, one of the loudest unexplained noises ever recorded came from the deep ocean in 1997. It was called the bloop. At first, it was so powerful and strange that many believed it could only come from a massive unknown sea creature. Eventually, the most accepted explanation was shifting icebergs, but even now, some experts argue the details don't completely add up. The idea that something gigantic could be moving beneath us is still alive in many scientific circles. Another shocking truth lies in the concept of brine pools. Imagine lakes at the bottom of the ocean, yes, lakes inside the sea. These are dense pools of salty water that do not mix with the surrounding seawater. They are so toxic that any creature venturing inside dies instantly. Yet, right on their borders, life flourishes in strange, alien-like forms. It's like nature is setting a trap, and at the same time, creating a sanctuary for organisms we can barely comprehend. And what about the size of life down there? In the deep sea, gigantism is real. Squids that can stretch longer than a school bus, jellyfish with tentacles extending more than 30 meters, and isopods, basically giant underwater bugs, that look like something from a nightmare. The conditions of the deep, low temperature and high pressure, somehow allow creatures to grow to monstrous sizes. One more fact you may not believe, there are underwater waterfalls. The largest of them, located in the Denmark Strait, carries more water than every single river on Earth combined. It's a hidden phenomenon that few people know about, but it proves the ocean is constantly reshaping itself in ways we cannot see. The strangest part? Even with satellites, deep-sea robots, and submarines, we have barely scratched the surface. The truth is, the ocean is holding secrets that may completely rewrite what we think we know about life on Earth. The more you learn about the ocean, the harder it becomes to look away. Because the ocean is not just water, it is a realm of phenomena that defy logic. For example, scientists have discovered that there are entire mountain ranges hidden under the ocean, larger than the Himalayas. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, stretching for more than 65,000 kilometers, is the longest mountain chain on Earth, yet it lies completely underwater. Imagine mountains so tall and vast, and most people don't even realize they exist. Then there are the black smokers, also known as hydrothermal vents. These are like underwater chimneys spewing out superheated water filled with minerals at temperatures that can exceed 400 degrees Celsius. No sunlight penetrates here, yet entire ecosystems live around them, using chemical energy instead of light. This was one of the most shocking scientific discoveries of the 20th century because it proved life could exist without the sun. It also raises questions: if life can exist in such extreme conditions on Earth, could it also exist in oceans beneath the icy shells of moons like Europa or Enceladus? Let me give you something that will truly unsettle you. The ocean floor is littered with shipwrecks and aircraft, some so deep that no human has ever reached them. The Titanic is just one famous example, but there are tens of thousands of wrecks lost beneath the waves. Each one is a frozen time capsule, silently guarded by the sea. Some are slowly being consumed by strange metal-eating bacteria, meaning they will one day vanish completely. And here's another mystery: the bioluminescence. Large areas of the ocean glow in the dark due to microscopic organisms called dinoflagellates. sailors have reported sailing through glowing seas for centuries, calling them Milky Seas. In modern times, satellites have confirmed that these glowing patches can stretch for tens of thousands of square kilometers, lighting up the ocean as if it were alive. Imagine standing on a ship at night, surrounded by water that glows like liquid stars. But here's a chilling reality. The ocean is filled with dead zones, areas so starved of oxygen that almost nothing can survive. There are more than 400 of them worldwide, and they are expanding due to pollution and climate change. This means entire sections of the ocean are slowly turning into underwater deserts, and yet we rarely hear about it. Even more bizarre are rogue waves. For centuries, sailors told tales of massive walls of water that appeared out of nowhere, swallowing ships whole. Scientists dismissed them as myths, until satellites in the 1990s proved they were real. These rogue waves can rise higher than a 10-story building, forming suddenly and vanishing just as fast. No warning, no explanation, just raw, destructive power. And then there are the immortal creatures. One example is the tiny jellyfish known as Turritopsis dohrnii. When threatened by stress or injury, it can revert its cells back to a juvenile state, essentially starting its life cycle all over again. In theory, this makes it biologically immortal. While it can still be killed by predators, disease, or environmental changes, the idea that a creature in our oceans has figured out a way to cheat death is beyond astonishing. Let's begin with something unsettling. Most of the oxygen you breathe doesn't come from forests, but from the ocean. Tiny organisms called phytoplankton produce more than half of Earth's oxygen. Every breath you take is connected to these microscopic life forms drifting through the sea. Without them, human life wouldn't even exist. Now, think about this: the ocean hides underwater rivers. Yes, actual rivers flowing beneath the waves. In places like the Black Sea and the Gulf of Mexico, currents of salty, dense water travel across the seafloor like rivers, complete with banks and even waterfalls. These rivers are invisible from the surface but real enough that submarines can swim through them as if entering another world. And here's something haunting. In the deepest waters of the Pacific, scientists found plastic waste, bags, bottles, and microplastics settling on the seafloor of the Mariana Trench. It proves that human pollution has reached the most remote and hostile places on the planet. Even where no human has ever set foot, our trash has already arrived. But let's shift to the strange sounds again. Apart from the bloop, there are other mysterious noises recorded by underwater microphones: the upsweep, the train, Julia. Some are believed to be volcanic activity or ice movements, but others remain unexplained. Imagine listening to a haunting, echoing moan rising from the darkness below, with no clear source. Some scientists still cannot rule out the possibility of enormous, undiscovered creatures making these sounds. And then we come to the colossal squid. Unlike its cousin, the giant squid, this creature is even rarer and far less understood. Its eyes are the largest of any animal on Earth, about the size of a soccer ball. They are perfectly adapted to spot faint light in the crushing blackness of the deep sea. These eyes can detect the glow of approaching predators like sperm whales from hundreds of meters away. The fact that such monsters exist, largely unseen, is both fascinating and terrifying. But perhaps one of the most bizarre realities is that the ocean floor is constantly moving. Tectonic plates shift beneath the sea, creating earthquakes and tsunamis that can devastate entire coastlines without warning. Some of the deadliest natural disasters in human history have been triggered by movements hidden far beneath the waves. The ocean doesn't just contain life, it reshapes the world itself. And then there's a detail that few ever think about: more people have walked on the surface of the moon than have visited the deepest parts of the ocean. That means we know more about outer space than the very waters covering our planet. The greatest mysteries are not millions of miles away, they're right here, beneath us, in the abyss. The ocean is alive with secrets, and each discovery seems to only open the door to 10 more questions. Let's talk about methane hydrate. Deep beneath the ocean floor, in the cold dark sediment, there are vast reserves of frozen methane gas locked inside ice crystals. These deposits are so large that if released all at once, they could potentially alter Earth's climate in catastrophic ways. Some scientists believe sudden releases of methane from the ocean may have caused mass extinctions in the distant past. It's like sitting on a ticking time bomb buried under the seafloor. Now imagine the Twilight Zone, not the TV show, but the real one. It's the layer of ocean between 200 and 1,000 meters deep, where light barely reaches. In this region lives the greatest biomass of fish on the planet, including the mysterious bristlemouth fish, which is thought to be the most numerous vertebrate on Earth. Billions, maybe trillions, of them exist, yet most people don't even know their name. Here's something even more chilling: the ocean has its own graveyards. There's a place called Point Nemo, known as the oceanic pole of inaccessibility, the spot farthest from any land. Humans use it as a spacecraft cemetery, where decommissioned satellites and space stations are deliberately crashed into the sea. Right now, the remains of space history, including parts of the Mir space station, rest in the deep waters of Point Nemo, a place so remote that the nearest humans are often astronauts orbiting above in the International Space Station. But let's turn to something that blurs the line between science and nightmare: sargassum. This is a vast floating seaweed ecosystem in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, stretching for thousands of kilometers. From above, it looks like golden carpets drifting endlessly. Within it live strange creatures, transparent shrimp, camouflaged crabs, and fish that blend perfectly with the seaweed. Sailors throughout history described being trapped in these dense mats, fearing their ships would never break free. And here's a fact that might make you shiver: the ocean floor holds more human history than all the world's museums combined. From ancient cities swallowed by rising seas, to entire naval fleets lost during wars, the seabed is a library of lost civilizations. Every dive uncovers artifacts that rewrite our understanding of the past. Yet most of it remains untouched, waiting to be found. Now picture this: every day, around 8 million tons of plastic enter the oceans. Over time, these plastics break into microfragments that are now being discovered inside fish, seabirds, and even in humans. Scientists have found microplastic particles in human blood and lungs, meaning the ocean's pollution cycle has already become part of us. The ocean isn't just something out there, it flows back into our own bodies. And yet, despite all this, the ocean is still the ultimate life source. It regulates climate, absorbs carbon dioxide, and without it, Earth would be uninhabitable. But it also hides power and danger far beyond our control. Consider the concept of marine snow. No, it isn't snow made of ice, it's a constant shower of organic material drifting down from the upper layers of the ocean. Dead animals, plankton, fecal matter, and fragments of organic debris slowly sink for thousands of meters. For the creatures of the deep, this falling rain of death is their only source of food. Imagine entire ecosystems built on a continuous storm of decay, where survival depends on consuming what falls from above. Now let's look at blue whales, the largest creatures ever to live on Earth. Bigger than any dinosaur, their hearts alone weigh as much as a small car. A single beat of that heart can be heard from over 2 miles away. And yet, these giants feed almost exclusively on tiny krill. It's a paradox of scale: the most massive animal in history depends on some of the smallest creatures of the sea. Here's a fact that might shake your sense of security. Scientists estimate that 20 million tons of gold are dissolved in seawater. Yes, the ocean literally holds unimaginable wealth, but the gold is spread so thinly, about a few parts per trillion, that extracting it isn't currently possible. Still, the knowledge that the seas are saturated with hidden treasure only adds to their mystery. Now think about oxygen minimum zones. These are massive mid-ocean regions where oxygen is nearly absent. Fish avoid them, predators can't survive in them, and they are expanding as Earth warms. Some scientists fear these growing oxygen deserts could permanently reshape marine life, forcing species migrations and collapsing entire food webs. It's a silent, creeping transformation happening right now beneath the surface. And here's something airy: deep-sea fish often migrate vertically. Every night, trillions of organisms rise from the depths to feed near the surface, then sink back down at dawn. It is called the Deal vertical migration, and it is the largest animal migration on the planet, happening every single day. Yet most people don't know it exists. Imagine, as you sleep, the world's greatest hidden migration takes place, unseen, just beyond the shore. Let's not forget the unknown. More than 90% of the species in the deep ocean have never been classified. For every bizarre creature we've captured on camera, like the ghostly gulper eel that inflates like a balloon or the barreleye fish with a transparent skull, there are countless others lurking in total darkness, waiting to be discovered. And here's the haunting truth: the ocean may hold the cure for diseases we fear most. Compounds extracted from marine organisms have already been used in treatments for cancer, viral infections, and chronic pain. The sea is a pharmacy beyond imagination, but we've only tested a fraction of its potential. For all we know, the key to curing humanity's greatest illnesses may be hiding inside a sponge, a jellyfish, or a deep sea worm that no one has studied yet. In the deepest parts of the ocean, scientists have detected radioactive carbon from nuclear bomb tests conducted in the 20th century. That means even the remotest, untouched corners of the abyss are carrying the fingerprints of human history. No place on Earth, not even 7 miles under the sea, has escaped our presence. Now consider the Greenland shark. It can live for centuries, up to 400 years, making it the longest living vertebrate known to science. Many Greenland sharks swimming today were already alive before the United States existed as a nation. They drift slowly through the Arctic waters, carrying centuries of secrets in their flesh. Even more chilling, some have been found with parasites attached directly to their eyes, leaving them partially blind, yet still surviving in complete darkness. And then there's the fact about tsunamis. The deadliest waves don't always start near land. An earthquake thousands of miles away can set off a tsunami that crosses entire oceans, building silent power before striking a coast that had no warning. One wave generated in the deep Pacific can travel faster than a jet plane, unstoppable until it reaches land. The sea, calm one moment, can become an unstoppable force the next. But the ocean also hides strange beauty. At hydrothermal vents, some of the creatures that thrive are so surreal they defy imagination. There are tube worms that can grow taller than a human, without mouths or stomachs, surviving only through a partnership with bacteria inside their bodies. It's life redefined, existing without eating, without light, in places no human could endure. Here's something that unsettles even scientists: the deepest fish ever recorded was found more than 8,000 meters below the surface. At those crushing pressures, bones should snap and organs should collapse. Yet, somehow, these creatures survive by producing special proteins that prevent their cells from being destroyed. They are living proof that life can adapt to conditions we once thought were completely impossible. And the ocean floor, far from empty, is filled with hidden volcanoes. In fact, about 3/4 of all volcanic activity on Earth happens underwater. Entire eruptions can take place unseen, reshaping the seafloor, creating new islands, and triggering quakes, all while the world above carries on, unaware of the firestorm below. Then there is something even stranger: scientists have discovered singing sand dunes beneath the waves. Certain underwater slopes vibrate when water or sediment moves across them, producing deep, resonant tones like the ocean itself is humming. These natural symphonies echo through the depths, carrying sound for miles, a hidden music of the earth. And perhaps the most haunting truth is this: every second, the ocean is swallowing pieces of our world. Rising sea levels are already submerging coastlines, erasing villages, and threatening cities. Archaeologists say that thousands of ancient human settlements now lie underwater, erased by time and rising tides. What we see today as history is just the beginning. Our own civilization may one day join them beneath the waves. I'm Apple from AppleKnows channel, and now we've reached the end of our dive. You've traveled with me through crushing depths, glowing seas, immortal creatures, hidden mountains, underwater rivers, and secrets written in the very bones of our planet. The ocean is not just water, it is life, death, history, and the unknown, all in one endless expanse. And maybe that's the greatest truth of all: the ocean will never give up all its secrets. It will always remain part mystery, part mirror of ourselves. The more we discover, the more we realize how little we know. So next time you stand at the shore and look out at the waves, remember, you're not just staring at water. You're staring at the greatest mystery left on Earth. This was Apple from AppleKnows channel. Until the next journey into the unknown, stay curious.